There once lived a young man named Raphael. He studied music at the university, and truth be told, he was every girl's silent crush. Not just because he was handsome, but because of the way he smiled, the way he walked, and the way his voice made you pause, even if only for a second. With a kind heart and quiet manners, Raphael didn't try to impress anyone, but somehow he always did. Still, as perfect as he seemed, Raphael had one small problem. He wasn't very good at studying. Yes, exams were his greatest fear. Reading never came easy, and when the pressure hit, everything he had crammed into his head would vanish like smoke. Most times he sat close to his best friend Richard during tests, hoping to survive the storm. Then came the 300-level first semester exams. As always, Raphael planned to sit near Richard, but that day the lecturer was watching. She walked up to him and said with a cold voice, "You move, sit somewhere else." And just like that, Raphael's plan fell apart. He sat alone, heart racing, staring at the exam paper as if it were written in another language. By the time he finished, he knew he had failed. And weeks later, when the results came out, his name was missing from the pass list. The next morning, a message came through. The lecturer wanted to see him. Raphael walked slowly to her office, shoulders low, nerves tight. Her name was Mrs. Kemi, a woman known for being strict and sharp. She didn't even look up at first. Then finally she said, "Why do you always depend on your friends? Don't you read at all?" He swallowed, then answered softly, "I try, but my memory isn't good. I forget everything once the pressure starts." She paused, watching him closely. Then to his surprise, she didn't shout, she didn't threaten, she simply picked up a red pen and wrote a D on his paper. Enough to pass, just barely. Raphael stood there, confused, until she said, "I'll help you. Give me your phone number." His eyes blinked. "Ma? For tutoring," she replied, her voice softer now. "I'll call you when I'm ready." He gave her the number, but what he didn't know was that her interest went far beyond tutoring. Later that semester, something big happened. A music competition. It was the moment Raphael had waited for. When he stepped on stage, everything went quiet. He took a breath, closed his eyes, and began to sing. His voice wasn't just beautiful. It was powerful. It was healing. It was unforgettable. The hall froze. The audience held their breath. And when the song ended, the cheers that followed nearly brought down the roof. He had won. Not just the competition, but the hearts of nearly every girl in that room. But not everyone was clapping. Favor, a girl known for her beauty, and her sharp tongue, sat at the back, fuming. She had tried everything to get Raphael's attention. Expensive hair, makeup, bold dresses, yet he never noticed. And that night, he didn't even glance her way. Her jealousy began to burn. Jessica's big idea. A few days later, in the middle of class, a cheerful voice broke the silence. "Let's do something fun!" Jessica shouted. "Exams are over! Who's in for a picnic?" Laughter and claps filled the room. She was always the lively one, full of energy and full of ideas. They picked the arena field for their hangout, a wide, breezy space where laughter could fly free. But Jessica had a secret mission. She wanted Raphael to come. She walked up to him, smiled and said, "Hello, handsome." Raphael turned slowly, amused. "Hey, Jessica, I'm good, but it's Raphael, not handsome." Jessica giggled, cheeks turning pink. "Please, you're too fine to pretend. You're my heartbeat." The class burst into laughter. A few girls rolled their eyes. Favor from the back hissed, "Big head! Who told you he likes you?" But Raphael just smiled. Calm, kind, unbothered. Jessica leaned forward. "So, will you come to the picnic?" He nodded. "Sure. What games are we playing?" "Truth or dare," she replied. "Flip the bottle, a food contest, and maybe something wild." Everyone clapped. Even Favor, though she acted like she wasn't listening, muttered under her breath, "I'll be there." The day of the picnic. The sun was out, the field was glowing, The girls arrived first, in shorts, cute tops, and sweet perfume floating through the air. The boys followed, fresh haircuts, smooth clothes, confidence loud. Then came Raphael. Simple black shirt, jeans, nothing too loud, yet every eye turned. He didn't need to dress up to stand out. Jessica ran up to him. "You made it, of course," he smiled. The games began. Laughter filled the air. Dares got wilder, truths got deeper. Then, boom, thunder rolled across the sky, and without warning, heavy rain poured down. They screamed, laughed, and ran for cover, straight into a half-finished building nearby. The place was dark, cold, and quiet, but strangely perfect. Jessica sat next to Raphael, her hair wet, her eyes shining. "This feels like a movie," she whispered. He chuckled. "Maybe a romantic one." She blushed, then smiled. "The game that changed everything!" From the other side, someone shouted, "Let's play hide and seek!" The rain continued, louder, wilder. Inside, the game began. People disappeared behind walls, laughed under staircases, hid behind desks. Jessica leaned toward Raphael and said, "Let's hide together." They tiptoed toward the back, behind a dusty curtain. It was dark, quiet, only the sound of rain and their breathing. Jessica looked at him. "You really don't know how many girls are crushing on you, do you?" He raised a brow. "I focus on music." She smiled gently. "Maybe it's time to focus on someone else." Their eyes locked. Time froze. The curtain moved slightly, as if the wind itself wanted to peak. Outside, the storm danced. Inside, a flame was beginning to burn. Two hearts, one moment, a love written in the rain. All the students gathered inside the large hall. The rain hadn't stopped, but that didn't stop their excitement. The sound of thunder echoed softly in the background, and laughter filled the air. Everyone circled up, ready to continue the games. Jessica clapped her hands and smiled. "Let's play again! Truth or dare!" Raphael sat quietly, but his eyes scanned the room. He was calm, but something about the rain made everything feel more intense, like something was about to happen. Jessica started the game with confidence. "Truth or dare?" she asked, looking straight at Raphael. He smiled and replied, "Truth." Jessica leaned forward with curiosity and asked, "Who is your crush in this department?" Raphael gave a small laugh and said, "None." Jessica smiled playfully. "Oh, all right then. Next, please." Then Richard turned. "Truth or dare?" he asked. Favor raised her hand confidently. "Dare," she said. Richard grinned. "I dare you to hug Raphael." Favor's eyes lit up. She blushed and giggled. "Okay," she said happily. She walked over to Raphael with excitement in her steps, but just as she reached out, Raphael gently pulled away. He didn't like her character, and he didn't want to give her the wrong signal. Favor's smile faded. Her mood changed. She wasn't happy. Next, Amelia asked, "Truth or dare?" Matthew answered, "Dare." Amelia laughed. "I dare you to hold Felicia, look into her eyes and peck her on the mouth." Matthew blinked, but he smiled. "Oh, all right." He stood up, walked to Felicia, took her hands and looked into her eyes. Everyone held their breath. Then he leaned in and pecked her gently on the mouth. The room erupted. Cheers, screams, and laughter filled the air. "Here we go," someone shouted. "A new couple in our midst." It was Raphael's turn. He looked up and said, "Truth or dare?" Before anyone else could answer, Jessica shouted, "Dare!" The room went silent. All eyes turned to Raphael. He smiled. "Jessica?" She answered. "Yes, handsome?" he said. "I dare you to sit on my legs." Without hesitation, Jessica rushed forward and did it. She sat on him, laughing and dancing playfully. Raphael smiled and said, "Oh, this girl, you're too playful." Jessica blushed hard, then leaned closer and whispered, "Raphael, I love you." Raphael's eyes widened in shock. The games continued. Everyone laughed and played. It was one of the best nights of their lives. The next day, everyone returned to school. The rain was gone, but the memories stayed fresh. Raphael walked into the building feeling relaxed until he got a message. It was from the lecturer who helped him pass his exam. She wanted to see him. Raphael walked into her office. She was seated, dressed in a lovely gown. When she saw him, she stood up. "Hello, Raphael," she said. How do I look in this dress? She turned slowly so he could see the full view. Raphael stood still. Well, Ma, you look awesome on it, Ma. She smiled. That's good. I would love to meet you at this address for dinner. Raphael looked confused. Dinner? For what, please? She smiled again. I just want to make it up to you. I want you to see how caring I am. I'm a nice person. I can take good care of you. I have money. I will enrich you. I'll change your car and get you a good one. She handed him a card. The address is there. I'll be the one to sponsor the dinner. Please, Raphael. It's just dinner. I lost my son when he was just 2 years old. I just feel like having you by my side, like a son. Raphael was silent for a while. Then he said, okay, fine. I will be there. The next day, Raphael was at home. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. It was Matthew and Richard. He opened the door and welcomed them in. They sat down, laughing and talking like old friends. They started discussing the last picnic. Matthew said, that picnic was crazy. Raphael scratched his head. Which picnic? Richard added. You forgot so quickly, Matthew laughed. The one where it rained and we played Truth and Dare. Raphael nodded. Ah, that one. Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. They all smiled. Then the topic shifted. They started talking about the girls in their department. Matthew asked, so Raphael, who's your favourite? Raphael chuckled. I don't know yet, Matthew smiled. Maybe someday you'll know your choice. Then he turned to Richard. What about you? Richard shook his head. Leave me alone. I'm not interested in that. They laughed. Then Richard became serious. Raphael, there's a new business. We could earn some money from it. If we invest little by little, we might end up buying our own cars and houses someday, living a luxurious life. Matthew raised a brow. What kind of business is that? They discussed the idea for a while. It sounded interesting. But then they discovered the risks involved. The business had too many disadvantages. Matthew leaned forward and said, Raphael, don't try it. It's just a waste of time. Raphael nodded. All right. As they were still chatting and laughing, Raphael's phone rang. It was the lecturer. He picked the call. She greeted him gently. Her voice was calm and sweet. Please, Raphael, don't forget our agreement. Then she ended the call. Raphael stood still, shocked. Richard asked, who was that? Raphael replied, it's the lecturer. Richard raised an eyebrow. Is there something going on you're not telling us? Raphael smiled lightly. Nothing serious, just that she cares about me. Matthew leaned back. Okay, if you say so. To be continued. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more beautiful love stories. The next chapter is even deeper, sweeter, and full of surprises.